But I don't believe we need to turn a blind eye when things go wrong in the union either. So right now what we got going in San Francisco is, like last year, there was a proposition put on the ballot, Proposition C. And that's the one that made us pay part of our pension. But built into that was a mechanism for them to keep upping it and keep making us pay more. So now we're up to 13%. And it's going to go up again. So now these same group of people, these union people that are supposed to be union leaders, got together and wrote another proposition. This one is related to our healthcare trust fund. So the members pay into this trust fund, the money's supposed to be there when you're retired, and that's what it's supposed to be. So ironically, they're calling it the healthcare protection thing, but what it really does, it changes the mix of the healthcare board so that we have less control, that's the bottom line, and that they have full control, that's the bottom line. What it also does, it puts a mechanism built in. They say it locks the money up. But what's built into it is where they can rewrite it and change the rules at any point, as long as the mayor, they've involved the mayor in it now, and the board of supervisors. So instead of our decisions being made by the trust board, which is responsible to us, now is being politicized with the mayor's office and the board of supervisors. And that is not good for any public sector worker. So what we're asking people is to vote no on Proposition A. It's bad. A lot of our members don't make a lot of money. A lot of people supporting it, unfortunately, are the people that make over $150,000 to $200,000 a year. What do they care? They can afford it. Who is going to impact the worst is us, our union. And our union has a lower paid people, the police, fire, and all those people. They make big salaries. They can afford to pay a little extra. But us, that pension is still kicking our butt. I mean, we have people that have lost their homes. It's horrible. And now they want to go after people with children and make them pay more money for their health care. It's outrageous that unions are supporting this. And that's the killing part. Unions are supporting this. So we want to tell all union members, no matter what your union puts in the newspaper or mails in your mailbox, don't just automatically vote yes on A. Think about it, read it, because once you read it, there's no way any working person can support Proposition A. From Local 21, sat down with one of the supervisors, Sean Ellsberg, and they wrote this pension measure. Okay. And then they put it on the ballot. So the membership had no say in the vote.
We got it. Oh. Yeah. Exactly, just like they did.
That's right. And then they poured tons of money into making it pass. The unions did.
Wow.
The labor councils did.
Yeah, I guess that was the question.
It was political.
Okay. And
it was political.
Into this, I could see that.
It's strictly political.
And then,
they didn't give a damn about us, frankly. I mean, some union leaders, unfortunately, are so involved in what's going on out there that they've forgotten the real reason that they're here is us. And they're more happy with keeping the labor council happy, even if it screws their own members. And that's a problem.
And then, so now Prop A.
Now Prop A deals with the health care.
Exactly. So they want to,
and it's going to do the same thing to our health care. Make it possible for them to jack up our rates anytime they want to, because they will control the funds, they will make all the rules, and we can't vote it down. We can no longer bargain, because we used to be able to bargain for our pension and health care. We won't be able to bargain anymore, because it'll be in the charter.
Retirees, and a lot of retirees a lot of them have sold out, just like some of the workers have. And the thing with this fund is that, and I think you did a great job explaining it, but there's one thing in the legislation that allows the city to call the what they call them employment organizations, the unions in, and ask for more contributions from the workers. It's right in the legislation. So it's kind of like a clue what they might do when they start spending down this fund that workers are paying into right now. 2% of their wages right now to 1% of what the city is paying in. So they, and then if you know anything about trust funds, it's really supposed to be for the beneficiaries. Well, the trustees, so-called, the city and county, the employer, is taking it over, as Brenda said,
right.
And what they did is they got some people in the retirement segment that are in a couple organizations that are notably conservative. And they hooked up with a few of the member leaders, and they got them to agree to support this. Meanwhile, in my case, I was in this organization called Protect Our Benefits, and the two co-chairs and this woman who was not an officer but considers herself a leader anyway, went and talked to Farrell, who's the maker of the legislation, and agreed to endorse it. Then they came back to the members of this group and started pushing it on them. We hadn't even looked at the legislation, but after 2 meetings of like a lot of arguing, and I was doing a lot of arguing about the undemocratic process, the members agreed to endorse it. I think they were afraid to embarrass this group in front of the city and county. And it was being sold to this group by these few people who consider themselves the leaders and insiders, that now we will have a seat at the table. We will finally have credibility with the city and county, because retirees have been locked out of all discussions, and yet they put things about our benefits on the charter, they being the unions. And that's one of them in particular, Bob Muscat, who will not allow any retiree into these meetings and tell us you're not stakeholders, and yet they have actually reduced our benefits, and we haven't been able to fight it, you know, at the union table. But Farrell is the most conservative of all these supervisors, and yet he managed to draw in people that consider themselves labor people, and they really are not. They've always waffled. I mean, it's sad about what's happening in the labor movement. I think it has become more conservative, and like they think they have to be good kids and go along with this, you know, like share the pain idea. And this is still going on in San Francisco. Meanwhile, we have this huge, I was told, we have $7.7 billion, the city does, to fool around with. And all of a sudden they're coming back again with this business about, we can't afford this health care, this pension, this retiree health care, because in 40 years we might be broke. I mean, they call it unfunded liability, okay? Well, nobody knows what's going to be around in even 10 years. And so I just have to say I'm really upset that a lot of retirees who should know better and they're opportunists. I'm angry. The people on this side, our side, are very angry about what they have done to us, because Farrell and that group are using these people to push this. Farrell is the supervisor, to push Proposition A. He's saying retirees love it. See, here we have their photos, and they're all these, you know, and they said that that's how they're selling it. Partly because we fought back really hard in Prop C, and we let everybody know that retirees were kept out of the loop. I mean, this was out all over the place, and the same with the original B, which, you know, it hasn't been addressed yet, but it gets really complicated. But anyway, suddenly they're saying, aha, now we'll say we're finally doing something for retirees. And they got a hold of these two organizations who behaved horribly in that wasn't democratically, the endorsements weren't democratically done. And I have some smoking guns about that, some emails that were sent, and I may use them at some point, you know, but right now I'm just interested in helping. I feel it's worse for the workers than it is for the current retirees, but because I know that a year from now, nothing. The next year they will hit people again for a contribution. That's what they've been doing. And they negotiate 1 year and take something away. Then the next year they do it through charter amendments. San Francisco has found a way to really hit workers hard. And it's like, if it's not negotiations, it's charter. And right now it's charter. So I say vote no on A. I mean, that's not in my name. I'm a retiree and not in my name.